Welcome to another edition of In the Winner's Circle, struggling through a heat wave, but Renee Cairns, Jennifer Morrison, always cool all the time. Do you believe that?
No.
No. Okay. Let's start with what happened last weekend. You've got your cards ready to go, so let's have at her.
Yeah, no, there's lots of interesting things last weekend, but I narrowed it down to 3. How about Yvonne Schwabe?
Yeah.
Not only a horse owner, she's a breeder. She sells yearlings. She bred the Queen's Plate winner, Midnight Aria, from a mare that
Who
she
will
actually...
not be going to the Prince of Wales.
Yeah, no, that's tough news for Fort Erie. It's a real bummer. And she also won her own stakes race with Certsey last weekend.
Yeah.
So she was 40-1 off the layoff. A great training job by Kevin Attard. So congrats, Yvonne Schwabe, on a real roll right now. Watch for those Schwabe breds. Okay, there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. On Rainbow Bridge. First stakes winner for jockey Sky Chernetz. And you know what was interesting about On Rainbow Bridge is I picked her second in the Toronto Star. Her first start of her career, she was miles behind, closed like crazy, and galloped out in front. She was big odds in the morning line for the stakes race on the weekend.
Shady Well,
and only went off at 5-1, and she won. She's by Bold Executive, whose last cropper yearlings coming up this year.
Wow, really? It seems like he's been gone forever.
I know. He's got one more crop of yearlings. She's a 2-year-old. Triple K Stables of Kurt Cosba out there in Alberta, so congrats to On Rainbow Bridge. Very interesting. And I picked up another one. This person you don't hear much of, too often, but she won 2 races last week. Carla Christofferson. She won with a long shot on Wednesday night. I think it was like 20-1 or something, and then came right back again. Well, that one was Jazzy Alexis.
Yep.
And then she came off the claim for J&G Murphy Holdings, so that was pretty nice. And then she came right back again on the weekend with the 40-1 shot on the grass.
The Bear...
Yeah, something about bears, yes.
Yeah. No, was it Glory Game?
Oh, Glory Game, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
The Bear used to own that horse,
used to own
right.
Glory
And
Game.
Carla Christofferson trains for the Bear, so, yeah, 2 big
but
long
that's her
shots.
own horse.
That's
she
right.
owns Glory Game.
Yeah. So, good job by Carla Christofferson. Watch the long shots, we have lots of long shots, even last night. They're just coming in, 40-1, all over the place.
Oh.
All over the place.
Long shots everywhere. Lots of racing coming up this weekend. Friday's program starting at 12:55. No Emma Wilson. She's off to Saratoga for opening day. She's riding 4 horses for Gary Contessa. That's a relationship that she's forged through the wintertime down at Palmetto's Gulfstream.
And we'll all be watching opening day at Saratoga.
Schuylerville, the big race.
Yeah, no, it's always fun to watch another new meeting starting up. So we'll watch her there, and we'll have some races on tomorrow. And one of these days, it won't be 800 degrees outside. I know somebody actually did an experiment today and actually baked cookies inside a car, just with dough.
Just with dough.
So that's pretty good.
I'm kind of hungry. Let's not talk cookies.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
2 stake races on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. The Colin, the first of the 4 stake races we're going to look at. We've got a field of 7 for the Colin, 125 wide open 2-year-old, so no restrictions, going 3/4 of a mile. Is it all about Conquest, a 2-step, a horse that was very impressive, breaking his maiden on dirt at Churchill Downs for conditioner Mark Casse?
Well, certainly. He's odds on first time out, cost $420,000. This Conquest Stables is a new American, not new, but fairly, new in buying all these expensive horses. We've already seen one of their horses win a 2-year-old stake here at Philly, Conquest Whiplash. Look, it's probably all about him. That was a first-time starter. Now, he has to run on Polytrack for sure. But, looking at the competition here, he's got Go Greeley, who, just got beat a nose in the Clarendon, but, that was only 13 days ago.
Yes.
Now, Go Greeley is probably a very good horse, but, I'm thinking the Conquest 2-step is going to be, on the lead and off he goes, and good luck catching him. Now, if there's a fly in the ointment here, perhaps this horse will have some pace competition from this Tuscan Getaway horse that comes in from Delaware for Ricky Griffith.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a really interesting long shot is another Ricky Griffith horse, Baba Brett. He was actually in that Victoria Stakes won by Conquest Whiplash, and he broke kind of really sluggishly, rallied, and closed well. And she's just a little itty-bitty filly, and he was actually gaining on her. So I'm thinking that this Baba Brett, no, I'm not pulling the wool over your eyes.
Oh, jeez.
But I'm thinking Baba Brett put that horse in your triactor. Might get some nice odds on him.
I like either one of the Ricky Griffith horses. Stroll is the sire of Skylander Girl, the filly
That's
that
right.
won the stake. Was it the My Dear a couple of weeks ago?
Yes.
Didn't fare all that well as the favorite in the Shady Well, but she was coming back off of just
1
8
week,
days.
yeah.
So that could have been her undoing. I think it's a small field. Conquest Two-Step will take a lot of the money, no doubt about it, and deserves it off of that big buyer. The horse that was second, Right on Curlin, came out of that race to win as well.
And
with
ran a
big-
91 buyer
with a
figure.
big fig. So a lot of things going in favor of Conquest Two-Step, and Sean Bridgman, who rode the horse at Churchill Downs on June 21 for Marcassi, is making the trip up to Woodbine. Sean's won some pretty nice races here at Woodbine in the past.
And that's got to be a good sign. The guy's coming up, I mean,
He wants to keep them out.
Yeah.
Because I think he figures it's a pretty nice horse.
That's right.
So we go from the 2-year-olds to the older fillies and mares in the Grade 3 Ontario Matron at 1 mile and a 60th. Eagle Hall from an inside post. Sisterly Love. Again, Mark Hassey, he's got Eagle Hall. He's got the daughter of Bellamy Road, Sisterly Love, as the 7-5 morning line choice. And then we've got a horse coming in for Owen Hardy. Lahali Dubai, a daughter of Street Sense, coming off an easy win at Arlington, and that is also Polytrack.
yeah, and this, if you look at this filly, it's a Godolphin filly, so we haven't seen Godolphin silks here in quite a while.
Yeah.
Look at her record on synthetic, 5 for 9. Okay, so she ran strictly on synthetic in England, pretty much. I mean, she obviously is not a grass horse. 3 starts in the grass, nothing. Now she comes off a little bit of a layoff from Dubai, explodes when in all kinds of trouble, explodes with this huge win last time at Arlington. So who knows how good this horse is. She's coming back, in a month, so that's all right. She's never been on the Woodbine Poly, but I mean, I think this is a horse to seriously consider. Sisterly Love, 7-5. Not for me.
Does she need the lead?
Well, we don't know. I mean, it looks like she does need the lead, but it also looks like this Invader Welcome Dance also needs the lead. I mean, this horse is always on the lead, and she runs her best when she's clear on the lead. So what are those 2 horses going to do? Now, I can tell you right now that whatever Yellow Boat is in the morning line, she's going to be a lot lower.
Yeah, she will.
The trip handicappers are going to be all over this horse. I mean, that was just like, Sweetbriar
It was a brutal
Stakes.
trip.
And it was only 2 weeks ago, that's the only problem.
Yeah.
But she should have won that race, there's no question about it. Todd Cable rides her now, but now she's going 2 turns for the first time, and she's running in a graded stake instead of like an overnight stake. So, there's no question this horse has got ability. Is she ready for these off the 2 weeks? Not sure about that, but I'll, depending on the odds, I'll definitely use her. I'm against Sisterly Love this time. I'm all about Lyali Dubai and the Yellow Boat.
I'm going to be all about Eagle Hall. That's going to be my pick. You're going to pick, because she's the closer, and I think there could be some speed in there. We just talked about that. Layali Dubai, also a speed horse, but you're going to go with the 5. I'm going to go with the other Marcassi horse, Eagle Hall, with Gary Boulanger. She's got the confidence on her side. She has just won back-to-back races. I know she's moving up in class, but
she's on a roll.
She's on a roll, and confidence a lot of times can speak volumes for how a horse will perform in a race, even if it appears as though on paper they might be a little bit tough and over their heads.
Well, sure, the sharp horse is always the one to watch.
I'd rather pick a horse that is moving up with confidence than one that is dropping down off some suspect form, some not so interesting
Very
form.
important rule for sure.
Yeah.
And actually, Eugene Melnick looks like he could be coming up to a really huge weekend. He's got a couple of 2-year-old in the first race Sunday.
Yeah.
Second race, he's got that horse that got into all kinds of trouble. First time out in a maiden allowance. And now we go on to the next stakes race, which is Sunday the 3rd, the Duchess Stakes.
Yeah, on Sunday we've got the Duchess and the Nijinsky. So we've got the 3-year-old fillies going on the poly. The Nijinsky is going to go on the grass. As far as race number 3, nice healthy purse of $125,000. That's our Princess, coming from an inside post, coming off of back-to-back seconds. She has raced against State Company. She was in the Celine way back in May, though, and that was a bad race. But she's since come back with some better races. I don't think she wanted to go a mile and a 16th. I think she's probably better off sprinting.
She probably is. Her mother, Princess Ruckus, was a sprinter.
Yeah.
Last time, I think she should have won that race last time. She was running against older horses.
Yeah.
She really was chewed up on the lead in that race. She managed to get clear, and here comes old Lemon Splash, who hadn't won a race in 2 years and got up to nail her at the end there. But, she's come back with a good workout. I quite like That's Our Princess in this race, but she does have to get past the first 2 finishers from the prep. And one of those is the Melnick filly, Lee Court, who was very fast. I mean, that was a very fast race, this prep race. Sky Treasure just beat her. And look at how far it was back to the third horse, Cryptic Message. It was 6 lengths. So
Yeah.
Sky Treasure and Lee Court in their own little match race here. But perhaps that's our princess to sneak up and surprise them at the finish.
I like Sky Treasure in here. Who's your pick? You're going.
I'm going to go with That's Our Princess.
Okay. So I'm going here, you're going there. What do we do with the horse that goes for Kelly Callahan? This is a daughter of second in command, a BC bred, was with Terry Jordan here last year and actually won very easily to Breaker Maiden against not bad horses. Has been recently with Anita Bolton out at Hastings, a third, not beaten all that far to I think so. In fact, both races she's been beaten to I think so. Now she's going to be back on the poly track.
Yeah, that's it. Those are 2-turn races at Hastings.
Yes.
And, she was one of the most impressive 2-year-old winners last year of anybody when she won by 9 lengths and ran an
So
83
you know she can
by
handle
her.
poly track.
We know she can handle polytrack. She's second-time Lasix. She's coming off a 59 workout. She's big, she can be big speed, though, and I think that Lee Court is going to really, make a hurting on Gold Strike Glory.
The only
I
thing
think.
about it is that she's got an outside post, so you don't have to go.
She doesn't have to
A
go.
horse like That's Our Princess from an inside post. Your
I would
hand
rather
is kind of forced.
Yeah, well, I would rather see. I'm hoping that That's Our Princess decides not to, and lets Lee Court and perhaps Gold Strike Glory go and then sit in third behind them. Like I said, That's Our Princess was chewed up in the duel.
Yeah.
Now, if the three of them go, then Sky Treasure is probably just gonna eat him up in the end.
Get to the Nijinsky, a grade 2, going 1 mile and an eighth on the EP Taylor Turf Course. And for Sunday, they will be racing in lane number 2. And all these horses are renewing acquaintances. The Connaught Cup, the King Eddie. They kind of go through the grass stake series for the older
Yep.
horses. Of course, Riding the River last season took the King Eddie, took the Nijinsky. This year, he's already won the King Eddie, going 1 mile. Came back to work in 58 and change, but I'm gonna go with Hotep. I think this is a distance that suits him well under the right circumstances. I think he could get there. He was beaten just a neck in third last time.
And he was beaten the neck by Riding the River in the Nijinsky Stakes last year, and Bender Harbor was third in the Nijinsky. So, it all depends on how this race is going to go.
Yeah.
Now you have the up-and-comers in here as well. Now, I say Riding the River comes back and works in 58. Probably in the best form of his career right now.
I think you're right.
I mean, just deadly. But, what's the point of, you're not going to bet him to win, so let's find some horses to use in the exotics here. I know you like Hotep. I would use Hotep, obviously, in triactors, exactors, all that. Never wins the horse. He's got 1 win. I just think he's a non-winning type. He's always closing. My upset horse here, or at least a horse that's going to make it interesting, is Grand Arch. I think this is a really, really up-and-comer serious horse. Just exploded last time. Mile and eighth, 145 and 1, about a mile and eighth. For Jim and Susan Hill, who, won
Ooh.
2 stakes races on Queen's Plate
Yeah,
Day.
what a day.
This Grand Arch horse is just surging right now. Just one going a mile and eighth. It was an allowance race. No one has a 2 other than. But I think he's ready for these. So that's going to be my little sneak horse there. I like Valentino Beauty a little bit. I didn't like the way he approached his last race. He was battling on the lead, then he took back, then he went battling on the lead, and then he eventually just
Yeah, it
got
was kind of
nailed.
odd, wasn't it?
Didn't like the trip at all. Still not convinced, though, that he wants to really be a mile and an eighth horse. And Pender Harbor, what do you do with him? He was definitely not ready for the King Edward. Definitely not ready. He's run well in these races last year. This will be the time to see if he's back.
If he's going to
his
step
form.
up, yeah.
It will be this time. He's got a new rider in Justin Stein.
What about So Long George?
Well, look at he's an up and comer as well. He really came to life when he was 4th in the King Edward and was closing
Beaten
quite
a
well,
half.
and had a little bit of trouble that day. And Emma Jane is back riding him and has had lots of success with him. Again, I think he's running against the same horses here, but now in the mix you're getting a couple of other tough ones like your Hampstead Heath and your Grand Arch. So I think that the competition's a little bit tougher here for George, and I'm still seeing Grand Arch and Riding the River.
Okay, I'm going to stick with Hotep. I know he's a wind-shy horse, but he's got Jesse Campbell, hot hand. Just
Yeah,
got the
it's first
the
time for Jesse. Maybe he'll encourage him a little bit more to get going.
Yeah, you never know. Different, not to say Wilson has ridden the horse in the last 2, but she's also ridden So Long George.
That's right.
So
yeah.
was that? See, these are things we don't know. Was that a decision by the jockey if she had two to ride in and the agent to ride So Long George, and that left Hotep open. Could she have ridden Hotep? These are things that we are just not privy to. I'll tell you what we are privy to, though, is a few things that perhaps you don't know about Stuart Simon.
Stuart Simon, trainer of champion sprint mare Atlantic Hurricane.
I ran into him in the race office today, and I thought, you know what? I bet you there's a lot going on in Stuart Simon's life that we don't know about. Number one, he used to be a drummer in a rock band.
Oh my goodness!
And still has his set of drums.
Oh boy!
Still bangs away every now and then. That I had no idea.
That's really
no
funny.
idea.
A drummer.
A drummer in rock. Can you see it?
I'm not really sure I can.
I can picture it. Won his first race in Regina in 1983. He's originally from Saskatchewan. Of course, he did the bulk of his training in Alberta. Yeah. I asked him best horse or favorite horse, and he kind of lumped them together with Atlantic Hurricane. Best, graded stake, multiple graded stake winner form. It would be hard to look past her.
Yes, for sure.
There's some horses that you like, but as far as one that you like and one was your best horse, he combined it with Atlantic Hurricane. Only other job that he's ever had was a baker's apprentice.
Really? Okay.
A trainer that he holds in very high regard, and I'm wondering if maybe that's why I didn't ask him this, why his colors are the same as Bill Mott, the green and white.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
He likes Bill Mott.
And he was originally going to join the RCMP. He was all set to go, but he had to go through the physical. This was the last step. Turned out they found thyroid cancer, which otherwise might have gone undetected, and he is a 30-year cancer survivor.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
All that, but I can just see him sitting at the drums because he's such a relaxed sort of guy. I can just see him, boom, and then going wild on something.
Wow, like great stories Collins. There, Simon. Stuart Simon.
Things we didn't know about Stuart Simon.
And he trains for Chiefswood.
He's got some good clients.
Yeah,
and he also had a piece of Atlantic Hurricane.
That's right. Yeah, they claimed her in Florida.
Yeah, so that was... no, they claimed her here.
Oh, that's claimed her here, that's right.
Yeah, she was on a streak. I think 40 or 50,000 is what they took her for. So that'll wrap up another busy edition of In the Winner's Circle, sponsored by the HPBA of Ontario. There's a look at our Twitters if you want to send something along or follow maybe what we're sending out there. And that'll pretty much wrap it up. Anything else? No?
Best of luck. 4 stakes races this weekend. More great racing, and you can't get any better than that.
No, it's going to be a good weekend, and the weather is supposed to break. So good luck with your handicapping, and hopefully we helped you out to find your way to the Winner's Circle.